Today on CityCast Portland, Oregon's current wildfires are set to become the largest in our state's history. Salem is standing up against encroaching data centers, plus the more probable reason our airport's trees are dying. And it's not dog pee. I'm your host, Claudia Meza, and with me are KBOO News Director Althea Billings and outdoors editor and host of the Explore Oregon podcast at the Statesman Journal, Zach Urness. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Claudia.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's going great.
Awesome. Zach, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been, I was trying to think, a year or two? At least 2 years.
I would think so.
And I think last time I was also on talking about wildfires.
Oh, no. This is not good.
You got to have me on for a happier reason one of these times.
I think so. Yeah, totally. What's your other passions aside from wildfires?
Well, I mean, when wildfires aren't taking up the entire season, we have lots of great stories about cool stuff to do in the outdoors and environmental stories. So we got lots to choose from, but wildfires kind of block out the sun this time of year. So, it is what it is.
Conspiracy theory, the wildfires were started to get Zach back on the podcast because they knew that those were the conditions.
Oh my God. Like we just found out that CityCast Portland are a bunch of sociopaths and we're just creating news for our own enjoyment. All right. It's good to have you back on, Zach. Now, before we jump into our opening question, I have a little update on a story that we talked through last Friday. I shared the news of the city shutting down a beloved water slide at Brooklyn Park in Southeast Portland. Parks and Rec said the nearly 50-year summer tradition, which is fully run by neighbors, by the way, was damaging the grass underneath and around the slide. This slide is massive. It's like 100 feet long, but it only really comes out during 90-plus degree weather, and any damaged grass, according to the residents in the area, grows back by the end of September. Anyhow, Willamette Week reported on this whole thing last Tuesday, and by Friday afternoon, the city reversed course after a ton of backlash. So the slide is no longer banned, and all is well in the Brooklyn neighborhood. So if you're in the area, you might see it back out this week, since we're supposed to be getting a few scorching days. And as for today's opening question, though, we're also back to a previous story we talked about a month ago. Listeners might remember that the Oregonian had reported that some of the trees inside the PDX airport were dying. Officials were blaming travelers for either pouring their coffee into the planters or even letting their dogs urinate in them. Well, now a horticulturist by the name of Elizabeth Snodgrass, which is the perfect name for a horticulturist, is telling Willamette Week that she doesn't think it's careless travelers that are killing these trees. It's the lack of sunlight. Snodgrass, who has been an interior plant landscaper in Portland for about 40 years, pointed out that all the trees dying are the ones not directly underneath the skylights. And those happen to be the black olive trees, who also happen to need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. She also said that she called it the moment she saw the cluster of black olive trees in the periphery of the skylights. She was like, I even texted my friend about it, which I love, that just all the people traveling, all the thoughts in your head, and in comes Elizabeth Snodgrass, and she's like, oh, those trees are dying. Like, I would never. I love that. So anyhow, she's calling bullshit on the official line that the trees are dying because of excessive coffee and dog pee, and is hoping that the Port of Portland chooses better trees for the light they're providing them, because there is talk of the black olive trees being swapped out. And this brings me to my opening question. Do you have a favorite tree in your neighborhood or city? I mean, like a specific tree. If so, what is it? For example, one of my favorites is that big apple tree by the Bluffs. Althea, you might know it. Zach, you live in Salem. You may not know it.
That's wonderful. I started thinking about this, and unfortunately, my favorite neighborhood trees are always the ones that just got cut down.
Oh, man.
Or something like that. You know what I mean? The one outside of the KBOO radio station, we had like a flood, and they had to dig up the road, and so our pear tree had to get taken down. We have a new tree now. Shout out to the new tree. Shout out Friends of Trees who gave us that tree. But I have to give, and they'd be mad at me if I didn't do this, all-timer shout out to the tree outside my childhood home, which was like a giant purple beech tree that you could see from pretty far away. And, that's kind of mythic when you're a kid.
Purple beech tree. I've never heard of such a thing. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, that's gorgeous. Whoa, that does look like magic.
They do have also these like funny little nuts that fall. Well, they're not really nuts, but like the things that fall and they really hurt your feet. They got spikes. So you'd think that'd be a drawback, but I guess, nostalgia weighs in on that a little bit.
Oh, Althea in Ballard, Seattle. Like, I can just imagine it. I'm assuming that it was in Ballard.
Oh, yeah, it's in Ballard.
Oh, yeah. Still there?
Oh, yeah, still there. Well, knock on wood.
What about you, Zach?
Well, this is actually an important topic for me because you mentioned that I live in Salem. I actually live about 45 minutes east in Scio. So I live on a couple acres out on along Thomas Creek out here.
Nice.
And I have a cluster of favorite trees, and they're big Douglas fir trees that were planted probably 80 years ago. And they really bring a lot to the area. And they're my favorite because we're rooting for them right now. And what I mean by that is in our area, we're having a huge dieback for Douglas fir trees that are no longer accustomed to living in the climate, especially at the base of the Willamette Valley. I did a long story on this, but
too hot.
Dieback is spreading, and we've had this, years and years of drought, and so the Douglas fir are really having a hard time. And so a lot of my neighbors, Douglas fir, are dying. And what I'm doing is these are my favorite trees because I'm really rooting for them to survive. Because there's insect infestations, there's the drought, which are killing them off, and I really want mine to survive. And so I've been soaking them with water. And, they're close to the creek, so I'm hoping that they survive. So they are my favorite tree, and I'm working hard to keep them alive actively.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I just thought like we were lush with Doug firs and they never go away. That's pretty
a fascinating
sad.
thing. Like the area that they're dying back is areas that they were planted. So in the early 1900s, we planted Douglas firs basically everywhere because they're so good for timber and things like that. But their native range is a little bit higher. It's closer to, 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet. And so the ones that are struggling are the ones that are in those lower elevations. And
where they're not supposed to be.
Hotter and dry. Yeah, exactly. The ones that are in the foothills, the Cascade, their native range, still doing pretty well. But the trees are here now, so I want them to hang on.
For sure. Well, good luck with that, Zach. Thank you both for your answers. They both transported me somewhere, so I really appreciate that. Before we take a quick break, I just wanted to share that we are cleaning out our merch closet, our swag bags. We have all these extra Portland pennants and tote bags. So if you have at all been thinking of joining our Portland Neighbor membership program, now is the time. It's only $10 or like $100 a year, which is a discount. You head over to membership.citycast.fm. It'll tell you all about it and how to join. Aside from these pennants, which, by the way, I saw one in the wild. We've been giving out these pennants, and then they say Portland on them, and they say I live here on purpose. And we were out videotaping a slushy video, really important stuff that we cover here at CityCast Portland. And then some dude on a bike drove by with it, and it was so cool. Just to see your stuff out in the wild, I was like, oh my God, it exists. So I can attest that these pennants specifically look awesome on your bike. Again, membership.citycast.fm. When we come back, Zach is going to update us all on the wildfires happening in our state. Okay, Zach, the harbinger of doom, and I apologize, we've created this role for you. How many fires are happening? Because I'll be honest, I've only heard of the bench fire because the Warm Springs Reservation and the human story there. I keep seeing headlines about it. But the largest fires in our state's history, that would mean that there's more. There's more.
Yes.
What is going on?
There's significantly more than that one. I think, so at this exact moment, there are 30 active uncontained wildfires.
Damn.
Almost all of them in central and eastern Oregon. It doesn't mean all of them are giant and they're in various levels of containment and activity. But yeah, there's 32 active wildfires for a total of about 1.8 million active acres right now. For the season, we've had about 60 large wildfires, and I think I heard you mention it being a historic year. It's been a historic year for acres burned. And what I mean by that is just the acres blackened by wildfire. So this year we've had 2 million acres, and that's just below The state record for acres burned was in 2024, and it was also right around 2 million acres. So we've surpassed the most wildfire year, and it's only the beginning of August. So the fires have been burning really fast. They've gotten really large, and I mean, that's been the story of the start to the season. I do want to mention something, though. People sometimes equate acres burned with it being the worst season on record, and that's definitely not the case. It's just, some of these are large grass fires that are burning out in Southeast Oregon where there aren't very large population centers, so they get really large, really fast and burn a lot of acres, but they don't necessarily have a huge impact. By comparison, if you remember 2020, by far the worst year in state history for wildfires. Those fires had a much greater impact. They burned about 4,000 homes. This year, it's awful, but we've only lost about 24 homes. So that's a good way of understanding size versus impact.
Right. Those were the Labor Day fires?
Yeah, the Labor Day fires of 2020.
That was terrible because the pandemic happened and it was just like everything was happening. Do you know what I mean?
It felt like the end of the world at that point.
Did.
I mean, between the wildfires and the pandemic on top of each other, it was really brutal.
It was crazy. I know that you're saying, hey, not many homes have been burned down, so the impact is not as great for humans. But I'm wondering about, I don't know, the earth. Just
it's good for the earth, right? They like it.
Yeah, like air quality and the ecosystems around there. Like, wouldn't this be kind of terrible? Like I here in Portland can see. You always can tell when there's a wildfire somewhere because the sky gets a little pink or the sunlight gets pink, like you're just like, this is a little too warm of a color for, I don't know, 11 a.m. And it feels like sunset already. Do we know how it's affecting our air quality?
Oh, yeah. And I would mention, just saying that it's not as impactful as 2020. I mean, that's a crazy high bar. This season has been really, really impactful on the east side of the state. I mean, thousands upon thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes. It's burned ranches. It's had a huge impact, particularly on the central and east side. And like you mentioned, air quality has been brutal east of the Cascades. I mean, it's been unhealthy in places like Burns for weeks on end. We're just really lucky here on the west side because we just haven't experienced it yet. We get these great marine winds that come in from the Pacific Ocean and tend to push that smoke to the east and keep it away from us. By the way, I know I don't love my title as harbinger of doom, but this coming week, the wind's going to shift a little bit and is going to bring smoke into the Willamette Valley really for the first time this season. We've been spoiled, frankly, compared to the rest of the state, and we're going to start to feel it a little bit. And all those fires and all that smoke we're going to start to get it a little bit this coming week.
I don't like that one bit, especially because this week is supposed to be one of the hottest weeks. So that's a terrible combo.
Hot and smoky, yeah. Not much fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of talk March, February, around that time about how little snowpack we had, how warm of a winter it was. I know it was making me uneasy how easy of a winter it was in the valley. We were outside, we weren't even that wet. Is this fire season that we're seeing right now on the scale that would be expected based on the lack of snowpack?
Yes. And I would say that, every time you go into a wildfire season, there's the setup for it. And, they look at what was the snowpack like, in particular, how cool and damp is spring. And you kind of determine what sort of wildfire season it could be based on that. And coming into this season, it was the tied for the warmest winter on record statewide. The lowest amount of snow that we've ever had on record, at least as long as we've been keeping those records. And then spring was also hot and dry. So coming into the season, the fuels were as receptive to fire as they've ever been in recorded history. Then again, that doesn't always mean that there's going to be a bunch of fires. You need that other ingredient. And the ingredient this year was lightning strikes. So we got 10,000 lightning strikes between two thunderstorms on July 15th and July 22nd. And when you take those extremely dry fuels and you add lightning to them, you can have a huge firefighting force, but the fires spark so fast and grow so fast that the fire teams can't get around them in time. And so you'll have, maybe a couple hundred fires and some of them just take off. And that's what happened this year. We had all the lightning, some of them turned into giant wildfires, and it grows so fast that it just takes a long time for them to get containment on them.
Oh man. Well, Zach, this is, I guess, I don't know. I'm a little bummed to hear we're going to be getting smoke, but I guess it's better than fire, you know?
I mean, we might get fire too. That's the other thing. There's a red flag warning today for the Eugene area. And we've got all of August. And, you know, I mentioned on the east side, like those fuels being as ready to start fire as they've ever been. The same is true on the west side. It just hasn't happened yet. But so when you talk to fire managers, they really stress like paying attention to everything you do outside. So like even things like dragging your chains if you have your boat on, or like parking on grass, or just having charcoal briquettes like by a park, you have to be really careful because any spark can start a fire really fast and it's going to grow really rapidly. So August tends to be when west of the Cascades gets more fires. Love to knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen, but we are primed for fire on this side too.
All right. I hope everyone's listening and everyone's on their best fire behavior. Let's not start a fire, you guys. Please. Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a bit more and just keeping us on our toes, because this is a big issue. And also, I had no idea we were getting smoke this week. So now everyone listening, check your filters. I know you can find online. I know on our site, we've had instructions on how to create your own filters and all that. So for sure, don't go running outside when we have a smoke warning. It's not good for you.
Yeah, just watch the air quality map is great. It's in real time, but maybe it won't be that bad. You never know.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, Althea has actually more news from Salem. They're really standing up against data centers. Althea, I feel like we should have just a regular segment on the show that's just called Data Centers. What is the deal?
Do we still have them? Did we figure it out yet? No?
Oh my God. What's the deal with data center? I just feel like every other week we're just like, now this thing.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I know Hillsborough put like a moratorium on data centers. I don't know for how long, like a few months,
4
a few
months.
weeks, 4 months. Oh, dear. And now Salem is somehow following suit. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, there's a couple things happening here. So I was looking at reporting from Lauren Dake at OPB and, of course, Mike Rogaway at the Oregonian. Last week, Governor Kotek canceled the sale of state-owned lands in southeastern Salem to a data center company out of California. It was going to be 32 acres, and they were planning to build this $5 billion data center. The Salem officials were under NDA since last year, and so the community just found out about it and were really outraged. This is following the trend that we've seen across all different parts of Oregon, where, you know, the temperature on data centers is really changing. And so Salem folks were quite upset about this. Salem City Council themselves said they didn't know that this was happening and weren't sure what their role could be. But Kotek did respond late last week to cancel this sale. Does that mean that there's not going to be a data center? No, but it won't probably be on those 32 acres. The company Veris was in talks for 3 large data centers in the area, and I believe they already own some of the land that they were planning to use for that. So yeah, we're seeing this progress in different ways. And one thing that I think is maybe helpful to dig into a little bit is just the different ways that the interactions between data center companies and the government have been challenged, right? Because I felt like I was confused by this as well. There was Kotek's statewide moratorium on the tax incentives, which is worth a ton of money. And that took effect in May, right? And then Hillsborough the other week had a moratorium on further land permitting. And then this is that we're not going to sell state land for it. And then we're also talking about having data centers pay more of their fair share of the strain on the electrical grid that they're posing. So there's a lot of different angles that municipalities are kind of coming at this.
Well, I know that PGE already passed that. Like, they're like, hey, they're going to pay way more. And, you know, residents are going to get a 3% decrease. And we were like, yay.
And way more was like 27% or something, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm curious, Zach, I know from social media that the Salem City Council meeting was contentious. Like, I saw some dude riding his bike and behind, like on his trailer, was a guillotine. I don't think it was a real one. It was like, you know, like he made one up and he was just riding around outside the city council. I don't know if he spoke, but I mean, that energy was, you could just tell people were pissed. Like, what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, it was like Salem gets randomly animated about different issues, third bridges and local issues and stuff like that. But I think the thing that they were most frustrated with was the surprise that this had been being negotiated behind closed doors for a long time, and people didn't know about it until kind of the last second, and that really sparked something. Yeah, I mean, the council meeting ran until, we had reporters there until I think 1 a.m. in the morning, just because there was just so many people that wanted to talk. The city council wanted to give them time. I think they're having another meeting for public comments. The videos you mentioned, there's some pretty wild videos from outside that event. It's definitely the front burner in Salem right now.
Well, Althea, I know you can't predict what's going to happen, but my concern is that a lot of this is pressure from citizens. Because let's be honest, before this, Cotec was just like, data centers, that's what's up. And then all of a sudden, I think that was the policy. I think that's what it was called. Data centers, that's what's up.
Data centers, that's what's up.
I think it was Das what's up. And it passed. Yeah. But then, people were just like, the water and, the pollution and all this other stuff. And things have been slowly kind of getting pushed back. But to me, a 4-month moratorium isn't strong enough. And we also know that data centers have to go somewhere, So I'm just wondering if this is all for show in a sense, or if this is for real.
I mean, I think the benefit of the moratoriums either in Hillsborough or the statewide tax incentive is ideally to just push off some of the flood, right? We should have better information about what impact this is going to have on communities. And people should be able to have a say in what's going on, because it's something, folks have now called a lot of attention to it and seen that it's sort of this runaway industry in a sense. In Oregon, Cotec has changed her tune somewhat, calling Oregon a cheap date when it comes to building data centers, that we're kind of rolling out the red carpet when we have something valuable. Know your own worth. Get up off the ground, girl. Oregon, you have, valuable land, and, you could ask a little bit more for it. I think there's also, it's an intersection of a lot of different things. There's a lot of different reasons that you might be upset about AI data centers. It could be the environmental impact. It could be that it is now next door to you and there's a low-grade hum all the time and the birds died. Maybe that's part of it. Or also that they are getting huge handouts and our government doesn't seem to be able to do anything about it. No matter who you talk to, they're like, well, our hands are tied. It's like, dang, who tied your hands? But also that they're connected to massive, massive companies, a lot of them with names that you will recognize, Meta, TikTok, X, for example, that people don't necessarily have a relationship with, that they're like, yeah, I love everything I see on TikTok. I love the X and Grok is here, the child porn machine. I love that we're spending our time and money on that.
Child porn machine?
You don't know
oh my
about
God,
this?
Althea.
I'm sorry, that's what it is.
What happens. Whenever I give Althea more than 2 minutes, we always end up on this child porn machine. And I have to reel her back. And I'm just like, what are you talking about, Althea?
AI image generation. Okay, sorry.
Okay, anyhow.
Sorry, it snowballs into these weird places. I'm sorry. Those are the things that it brings up for me.
I hear you. Yeah.
I'm sorry for being so hyperbolic.
Well, Althea, thank you for your passionate breakdown on...
Okay, yeah, I believe you. You're welcome, Claudia. I'm always happy to talk about data centers, the foremost issue of our time.
But here's the deal is that I'm always down to talk about data centers. The one thing I have not heard is the pro data center. I have not heard people coming in and going, my AI, it's so fresh. You know what I mean? No one's talking about why they love having, Zach, stand up. Go ahead.
I'm not here to be pro data center, but one of the big problems in Salem, I think, was how it was presented to the public, because one of the things the company is pitching is a whole lot of revenue for the tax base, which Salem badly needs. Our parks have been really struggling. There's been a legit budget crisis. So if it had been presented not as hey, we've been working on this behind closed doors for months and months, beforehand, I think there might be some interest in negotiating something, but the public is so dead set and frustrated and pissed off about it right now. I think it's hard to hear any pro things to it, and they do exist. You know, again, I'm not pushing for it, but like as in terms of bringing revenue to a city that really needs it, like there might be something there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. That's not a pro. You're seeing business. You're like, the business loves it. I'm like, oh, how about that?
No, I mean the city needs it, like to fund stuff that's been getting cut. So there is an interest in boosting revenue, and the data centers might be a way to do it. But you know, just the way that this has all gone down there's no room for it, I don't think, because people are so frustrated.
I know.
Yeah, the incentive structure is kind of strange, but you know, because many data center developments have gotten such incredible tax deals where they haven't really been contributing to the base. So I think you would find maybe a more balanced argument if there's some reform on that front, which maybe we will find out about, you know, later in the fall when the governor's task force comes back with some recommendations.
I guess we'll see the update to data centers. That's what's up in September.
Can we have like an audio sting for all of your data center stories? I think it deserves one.
Oh, man. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, going through some of these deadlines. Zach, it is a pleasure to have you. It is really nice. We should, next time you come on, I promise you, next time you come on, it won't be about wildfires. We'll come up with something else. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm
going to start setting fires to really, really hold you to that, Claudia.
Oh my God, don't do it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I control the lightning. So...
Jeez.
Just kidding.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend, rate it, leave us a review. And don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks like ad-free listening, invites to member-only events, and sweet, sweet swag at membership.citycast.fm. Hit us up. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.